Ich sehe vor mir einen Feldweg, der quer durch ein ungebrochenes Feld führt, und darüber fliegen eilige Wolken.
The film Land of Silence and Darkness is a 1971 documentary film about deaf-blind people and their experience of life. The film was written, directed, and produced by Werner Herzog, who is more well known for his later works such as Grizzly Man. This video essay will look into this documentary and try to explain why it is relevant to the documentary I am trying to produce. The film follows the story of a German woman by the name of Finny Straubinger who lost her eyesight as well as her hearing at an early age and was forced to learn new forms of communications. Despite the fact that this documentary seemed to have little to do with the subject of my documentary, the connection between the two are stronger than one might consider. The concept of losing one's ability to see and hear could serve as an ideal metaphor for language barrier, as some who experience would say that the feeling of entering an area that speaks a different language was like suddenly being blinded and deafened temporarily. The documentary uses a combination of interviews and clips of the daily lives of Finny Straubinger. The documentary opens with the main character reading out a poem, transitioning to shots of sports and scenery before gradually revealing to us that she could not hear or see. The way this reveal happened makes the audience reflect on the opening and be more impressed by her ability to read the poem and saddened by the fact that she could not experience the sports and scenery shown in the opening. The documentary continues first with an interview where the main character talks about her early struggle and clips showing her daily life by the time of the filming where she communicates and helps people with similar conditions and ends with the famous scene where another deafblind man interacts with a tree. I wish to use similar style in my documentary. As the film progresses, the focus shifts from the struggle of Finny Straubinger herself to the adversity faced by the deafblind community as a whole as the film went on to introduce several deafblind people such as the man with the tree, using Finny as an introduction to a grand subject, and creating an contrast between Finny who had been well adjusted to her condition and others who had not. The film, much like my documentary, also explores the concept of loneliness through the interview where Finny talks the period where she was distanced by the rest of her family, and through the inclusion of quotes like "It is as we were, 1,000 miles apart." The film kept a niche balance between suffering and optimism, showing the struggle the deafblind community faces as well as their overcoming of the struggle, much like the structure I am considering for my documentary. The film employs an unique artistic style. Other than the interviews, the camera follows the subjects closely and usually on the same level, the camera moving as the subjects move, even though that meant it had to film from unfavorable angles to achieve the effect, thus making the audience more immersed in the scene and better empathize with the characters. The film did not find much use in music, as most of the scenes were either silent or explained with narration. Therefore the audience is not distracted from the important aspects of the documentary. In conclusion, this well-made documentary explores similar themes and uses similar as my documentary, therefore studying the film is beneficial for my documentary production.